this. And I'm so excited, you guys. We had a last minute switcheroo with people on this Zoom, and I'm so grateful. And it's so crazy because I was talking with actually Jen about this, and I said, I feel like sometimes God just sees things that we don't see, and he is always like 10 steps ahead of us. And maybe there was something that you guys would not have learned from the other person that was supposed to be on tonight, but tonight we're going to have Jen McCullom on, and she's about to kill it. And she's going to tell you guys everything about her story. And guys, her story has impacted me so much. And I know that if it's impacted me this much, then at least someone on this Zoom call is going to be like, wow, I needed to hear that. So if you want to unmute, Jen, you can totally take the floor, share your story, tell us a little bit about you, where you come from, and all the things.
Oh my gosh, there is tons of new faces on here. First of all, if you don't know who I am, can you put like a 1 in the comments if you don't know who I am? If you do, put a 2. And first of all, I just have to say thank you so much to Chelsea and for just allowing me to pour into your team and even asking me. It's such an honor, and a lot throughout the business. I've always felt like it was like a really bad thing to ask another leader to help, to do something, to be there, and I learned that, and I'm going to share it from you. You've taught me so much, is like, be willing to learn, be willing to ask, be willing to be coachable, and like, don't overthink it. So I am truly blessed that you have me on here tonight, and it worked out for a reason, because I hope through this whole Zoom that I can impact anyone on this call in one way or another. And before I get started, it was put on my heart that I do want to let you guys know that I am truly, truly faith-based, like in everything I do. It's became an everyday purpose in my life. It is my purpose, and that's what I use my voice for. So if you're not there on that spiritual level yet, then that's totally fine. But if you hear, scripture, or you hear me say things, you may be like, wow, like I knew Jennifer, and this is why I asked you to put a 1 in the comments or put a 2, because if you were the 1, then you're going to be like, holy moly, like this is a different part of Jen. Like, this is not Jen. If you put a 2 in the comments, you're going to be like, okay, this is if you know my sister Stacy Lee's, this is Stacy Lee's, or more. So you're getting a whole different side. But I still, everything that I do say and everything that comes from my heart is love. Like, I love unconditionally. I love people, and I love just impacting. So let me put it out there. That is my main goal tonight, is to impact one of you. And a lot of you guys are actually new faces that I haven't seen ever. So I just, first of all, want to introduce myself. I'm Jennifer McCullom. I started this business in 2013, November, and I started it because I was at my lowest. I was 60 pounds overweight. Kathy's on this Zoom. I love you, Kathy. That's my OG. I was 60 pounds overweight. I was really depressed. I was that person on Facebook. Put a sad face in the comments if you see this person on Facebook who always is complaining. Misery loves company. They want attention. They're just a victim. It's just all negative. Like, you guys see that all the time. I was that person, but I was also fat doing it too. I was 60 pounds overweight, so I was miserable. Okay. Now, put in the chat a heart if you have ever seen somebody that inspired you so much that it gave you that strength, that motivation, that power, that just complete like that, okay, if she did it, I could do it. I could be happy in any aspect of life, not just business. You've seen that too. So we've seen both sides of it. We've seen good and we've seen not so good. Okay. So I was 60 pounds overweight. I got diagnosed with unspecified bipolar, and that's because mood disorder is not a specific medical term. So I got diagnosed with unspecified bipolar, and then chronic anxiety. And so I was on over probably 70 medications. Buspar, Zoloft, lithium, Klonopin, everything you can think of. I was on for 6 weeks. Try it, Jennifer. It will help you for 6 weeks. Just take it and you'll be on. And then the system just constantly was just like this, right? I was trying to break a generational curse in our childhood, in everything. I was trying to break that using medication, and I was trying to bring everybody down with me. And I was like happy doing it, but it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was like the devil inside of me working, and he was showing me what I'm not. Like I was out, like I just feel like that was not me during that time. Like that's not me. Like when you find peace over it, like, and I still have days that are bad. I want to explain that, even though I'm really carrying on. But the simple fact is I was a overweight, miserable, depressed person on so many medications. I ended up falling asleep for 24 hours and not waking up. And I couldn't take my kid to school. And at that point, I knew I had to change something. I had to change my life. I couldn't afford milk for cereal. I couldn't afford peanut butter for jelly. Like I got on food stamps. I filed bankruptcy. I was drowning. But the crazy thing was, this is the most important thing about all that, is I had my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I had my paralegal certificate. Nobody would hire me. It's not like I was lazy. It's not like I was not trying, because I was doing everything I could, but I didn't find a job anywhere. And at that point, I saw Sarah McKinnon, which is all of your guys' uplines. I'm your upline, Jennifer McCullom. I've been in this business for 9 years. I knew nobody. I was a very depressed person. And when I saw Sarah McKinnon online, I was like, oh my gosh, this girl, like she has it all together. She just got a $10,000 bonus. She's building her dream house, everything like that. That inspired me. That impacted me not to be the type of person that I was at that point. I started using the products and I lost 60 pounds in 90 days. I said it, 60 pounds in 90 days. I was taking Thermophyte, I was taking Fat Fighters, and I was doing the wraps and I was doing the greens. Okay. And then my grandma was like, I'm sorry, I can't. Actually, we were poor at that point. So we moved in with my grandma after I filed bankruptcy, and she saw that I was depressed. So she actually paid for me to use the products. And then at around 3 months, when I lost that weight, she was like, okay, I can't pay anymore. Like, and so I asked my mom for $99, and I said, can I have $99 so that I could feed my kids? And I really, truly needed to feed my kids, but I needed to do something for my kids even more than what could bring just that milk for that week. And I took that $99 and I joined this business. My husband didn't support me. My grandmother didn't support me. Nobody supported me. Everybody thought I was like just a failure, just putting money into a scheme or in a pyramid and all that. I started this business and I got blocked by my sister. If you don't know who she is, she was Christina Watts. She was a 2-time millionaire in this business. She was number 4 in the company. She was very successful in this company. And I'll let you know why that's so important, is because she blocked me. She wasn't nice to me. She was very mean to me. And then finally I said, please support me. Like, I don't care if you join, but have a party for me. She had a party. She invited her whole, because when I need support, and my sister knows that she's there in an instance. So she had the party. She had a bunch of her police dispatch people come and everything like that. And at that party, I was like, oh my gosh, my life is about to change. Like this is just a blessing. Like, this person who blocked me, mocked me, made fun of me, like just had this party for me just to support me. And I just walked out of here with like $700. You guys, I was happy I just had 20. I went and I got food for my kids. I did everything I could for my kids. At that point, it was like, we will never be in this situation again. And I grabbed my sister. I asked her where her purse or her cards were and her social security number, and I signed her up as a distributor. The one who blocked me, mocked me, wasn't there for me. And she did that for months, and I kept going for months without her. I knew that this was something like, this company's faith-based. And at that point, I didn't really have, I was Christian, right? I sometimes go to church, never read the Bible. And I believed that there was God, but I was just that typical person. And I'm talking about, like, I did not have a true relationship. So this company was faith-based. So I knew, like, okay, this has to be a good company. Then I found out it was debt-free during a recession. Okay, it has to be an amazing company. Then I found out it was a $1 billion brand. I was like, I'm not giving up on this. Like, this is something unexpected. Like, I'm not a salesperson. I don't believe it. I don't believe in that. And I do believe in all the spams. I believe all the negative in the world. Like, I believe there's a lot out there, but I knew that I had my hands on something because I've seen other people do it. And the whole point is, I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. And so my sister joined me, and that's when things took off. I then we bought our own home. We had our third son. We made $202,000 in just bonuses alone. We reached the rank of, well, now my husband's account is Ambassador Diamond, highest rank in the company. And we changed our lives completely. But I want to say one thing that changed it all is in 2015. Remember, I started in 2013. And 2015 was when I got baptized. Each month, each week, each day, each hour, just being in this business, it brought me closer to God. I was in it with my family and my sister. Stacy Lease is my sister. She's Ambassador Diamond, and my sister's promoted over me. I still stayed in the business. I dropped rank from $35,000 to $5,000. I still stayed in the business. I have lost checks. I still stayed in the business. I had people block me, mock me, not be there for me. I still stayed in the business. I suffered from mental anxiety, health, and my son getting diagnosed with PDD, a form of autism. But my failures and my stumbles and my obstacles are not yours. And you may be going through something that has just struck you in a way that you never think you can overcome it. But I'm going to give you some really, really good tips tonight that is going to help you and guide you and lead you so that you can succeed. But when I found, I continued to find my faith little by little, more and more. And that's not my having a being a Christian. It is my relationship with God. I'm not specifying any religion. I don't care about religion. I care about a relationship with God. And when I started having the relationship with God last year, that's what changed everything. But little by little, this company had brought me more in faith. My sister brought me more in faith. And then I realized that putting him into my life daily, I'm at contentment. I'm at a peace, and I'm present. And the thing is, I'm going to give you some tips about this business, that the reason why I went from $35,000 to $5,000, the reason why I lost rank, the reason why mentally I was suffering from anxiety and, unspecified bipolar, is because I didn't have him. And I'm not saying with him everything is perfect, but I'm at peace with everything that happens. And being at peace with everything that happens will help you succeed even in a more deeper level than when you succeed when it's all about the next thing, and the next thing. I was always looking for the next thing in this business. And the thing is, when you're looking for the next thing, you're not present in where you're at now. So you're going to suffer. You're not going to really rejoice in what you have and be content with what you have. So you could be blessed with so much more. And then it truly becomes a peace, and you want peace in whatever you do. You want happiness in whatever you do. You want whatever you do to feel like it's not work. You want to love what you do. So when I started having that relationship and growing my faith, that's when my business changed. But it changed for the worse at that point. See, God's going to take you to your lowest to get to your highest. I may not be back at 35,000 and I may be at my lowest in my business, but I'm going to tell you what, I'm more at peace than I was when I was rushing after that triple diamond check, when I wasn't loving people the way I should, when I was just worried about the next best thing. I wasn't worried about being coached or having that leadership. I wasn't pouring into myself. I wasn't pouring into everybody else the way I should. And when you do things the right way, it becomes the right success. And you'll have so much more peace over what you experience. So let me get into now my story. You guys heard my testimony. I came from having nothing to having a lot, going back down, going up, going back down, and going up. And I haven't walked away. 9 years in the business. This business started and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my yes. I've been told that thousands of times, but it wouldn't be, I would not be here if it wasn't for him up here guiding. You're going to have stumbles. You're going to have obstacles. And I would just want to give a biggest piece of advice right now that there's a season in your business that is going to change often. You're going to have different seasons. You're going to have different things that happen to you in different types of seasons. And there might be 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 different seasons that happen in your business, even in a year's time. But the thing is, when you take that and you be in the present, I'm going to tell you what being in the present means. When you be in the present and you take it each season as it comes, it won't feel like it's a failure. It won't feel like it's an obstacle. It won't feel like it's a tragedy. It won't feel like it's a struggle. It will feel like learning, wisdom, knowledge. Solomon was the wisest person in the Bible, the wisest. I strive to have his wisdom. I strive to get that from God. But Ecclesiastes 3:1-8, there's a time for everything. There's a time to sow. There's a time to reap. There's a time to be patient. There's a time to listen. There's a time to speak. And I got to give it up because I was always speaking. I was never listening. And when you listen, when you just take that time to really listen, and these are my biggest tips, is know your seasons and know when to listen. Because when you listen, you become that much wiser. You become that much influent, more inspirational than you can ever imagine, because you're listening. And everybody that you come across, there is a reason why you come across every person. That reason, and I am present now with every person I come across because God is putting them in my way for them to give me a word, for them to guide me, for them to lead me. And when I do that, when I can soak up everything that each person has, because even the most unsuccessful person has wisdom. God made us each uniquely us. So why would I not want to learn what she has? I'm not going to be blocked out. And I was always the block out person. I'm going to block you out. I'm only going to block you if you try to like get in my DMs to like get with me. Okay. I'm not going to block you for anything else, because guess what? Every person you can learn something from. You can take something from. So I became a leader who is growing. I am open to all growth, all wisdom, all knowledge, all prosperity, everything that comes. You take it in. You be coachable. You listen, not in the sense of somebody bossing you around, but you get in those leadership books. You get in those self-growth books. And the number one book, no, actually erase all that from your mind. Erase it all. Erase it from the dictionary. Erase it from everything. The first book you need to get into is the Bible. First and foremost, the Bible. Like, I don't even understand half of what I read, but this is what I'm going to tell you. The biggest piece of advice with the books that I'm going to tell you to read after I tell you about the Bible is God's going to give you what he wants you to learn from it. Even if you get one thing from a 4-hour audio, You get one thing from a 4-hour audio. That's what you learned. So the Bible, I don't know anything about numbers. Numbers scares the crap out of me. I don't know numbers. I read it. I don't want to read it again. It was the worst thing ever, right? But I learned that there were a lot of freaking numbers and armies and things in the Bible. So I'm like, okay, that's what he wanted me to learn about numbers. Awesome. So the thing is, keep going, because if you can get through Revelations 1-13, you know what's happening in the world. You know what's coming. You know that if you can understand 1-13 Revelations, you understand this world. You understand the Bible. So that's what I pick up from it. Now, let's get on to some books that really changed my leadership to love so much more, to be open, to be coaching, to want to read. You know how many books is my goal? I'll tell you the author that I'm reading right now, a little bit about it. I am so close with God that I want to hear him. I want to hear him like people hear him. And I don't know what you believe, but I just want to be guided. I want to be guided. I want to be led. I crave his word. I crave to just hear him, but I can't hear him unless I be quiet. So I've been listening a lot. So I listened to the book, and I love, Kimberly. Thank you for this. This is amazing. The book Whisper by Mark Batterson. It is, I think it's Mark Batterson. It is amazing. And, it's just amazing. But now for the people who are like, okay, I'm done with the Bible. I don't want to read the Bible. I don't want to read this, which you should. But the book that really changed and really helped me grow and be open to wanting to read 3,000 books a year, like Mark Batterson did in The Whisper, is I just want to learn. I want to grow. I want to be coachable. I want to soak it all up. And even if this is taking time away from my business, I'm becoming a better leader. I'm still present. I'm helping. I'm doing it the right way. And even though I might not be, my paychecks are not growing as well, I see so much impact that it's making that I'm at peace with everything. And that's the thing. That's what helped with the Bible. Now, I read T.R. Harvey, oh my gosh, The Secrets of a Millionaire Mindset. And it's by T. Harvey Eker. Yeah, T. Harvey Eker. And I read that. It had a lot of good information, and it was the foundation of helping me. I do love John Maxwell. I love a lot of his books. I read The 5 Layers of Leadership, and it really helped me understand where I'm at as a leader. And then every author that I'm reading, I'm just getting things. I'll read this, and maybe if I don't get and I'm interrupted or I'm distracted, like some people don't like listen to audios, but I love listening to audiobooks because I feel like you can do it anywhere. God's going to give you what he wants you to listen to and hear. God's going to give you what he wants out of that. And when you know that you got something out of it, that's what matters. Even if you picked up something I said, one thing that I said in here that will help you or impact you, that's that one thing that's going to help somebody else when you teach and share that with them. So you have to pour into yourself. You can't just keep leading and keep following people. You have to be open to that growth and that leadership and that coaching too. You have to let other people in. You have to want people to win. You have to pour into other people like nothing before. Like I'm telling you, like I said in the beginning of the conversation, if you would have heard me before, you would have been like, okay, Jennifer's like I was the type of person that didn't want to hear it. Like I thought my stuff didn't stink. Like I thought I was still humble, very humble, because I came from a broken place, but I was at like, nothing can ever take me down. God sure did. He was like, naughty girl. No, I'm just kidding. But you stay humble through everything that you go through, no matter what. And you can sit here, go through the seasons however you want. You can go through the self mindset but you're going to drain yourself out. You're going to drain yourself out a lot if you are giving everything to everybody else but yourself. And that's what I've learned recently is I became like, I was just giving myself so much to everybody, but how can you give yourself to everybody if you don't love yourself? And you were giving everything and you love people more than you love yourself. Can I ask you guys a question? This was a big wake up call. What would your self-esteem be like if you married yourself? I can cry right now saying that. I tell myself I'm fat. I tell myself that I'm getting old. I tell myself that I'm ugly. If I married myself, I would literally that makes me want to cry. Like, that's a big wake up. Like, I treat myself so bad, but I treat other people better than I treat myself. How? Why would we treat ourselves like that? Like, we have this temple. Like, he made us like perfectly in his eyes. Like, why do we feel like that? So knowing that if I married myself, I would talk to myself like that. I would talk to another human being like that. I would talk to another human being and call them fat. No. So why would we do it to ourselves? So you have to have a good mindset. You're going to drain yourself out if you do not pour into yourself. And when I say pour into yourself is, a lot of people message me and they're like, I don't know how you did it. You had 60,000 distributors. Oh my gosh, that's a lot. Like, I can't even imagine having 10. The thing is, Chelsea taught me this. She's taught me a lot. That girl has taught me a lot within the last 2 years. I'm so blessed. This is the reason why God put us together, because I wouldn't have grown into this without her. So I do want to say that is, she got me into those books. She got me into the mindset. My sister got me into the Bible. My husband pushed me into the Bible more. But like, if your mindset's not right and you're trying to answer a question, you're trying to help your team, you're overwhelmed, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice right now. You better write it down because this is the best piece. If your mindset isn't right, how do you feel like you can do something at 100% of success? You can't. You're going to answer that question based off emotion or based off what's going on around you, when truly you need to be in the correct mindset to answer a question. Leave that person. Let that person sit there. It doesn't matter if it takes days, nights, hours. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if that's a customer. If your distributor's not, if your mindset is not in the right mindset, why would you want to give that to anybody else? You want to be at 100% peace with opening your messenger and answering them. So what you need to do is, I'll give you a time management. I have it on my YouTube. If you watch my YouTube, I have a leadership on John Maxwell and a time management. All the time management is from Chelsea, and all the John Maxwell, she told me to listen to that book. But you need to block out time. If you're getting stressed out with your team, you need to block out team and be very, very communicative with your team and let them know, I'm blocking out 7 to 10 every single day. This is my working hours. This is what I'm doing. You can reach me after 10 and I will help you. I will guide you. I will lead you. I will do whatever I need for you to succeed. But I need these hours. Those are your hours. Time block that. The other thing is, yeah, it's boundaries. It truthfully is boundaries. And Chelsea, you taught me that with the time block. But I started realizing that I'm not going into my messenger until I tell myself, you're ready to go into your messenger, ready to help these people, ready to pour into them, ready to love on them, ready to guide them, do whatever I need to do. Because if I answer those messages on a heart that is not prepared, it's all going to be emotions, and emotions are chaos. They are. You want emotions, but chaos. You don't answer anything intelligently with the greatest wisdom, with the greatest knowledge, when you are emotional, because you base things off emotion. So you be adamant. So if your distributors have to wait, then they have to wait. And when you answer them, I bet they're going to love you and build that relationship even more than they did before. You know what I did? I stayed up from sunrise to sundown when I was going all the ranks up until presidential diamond. And now I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to give this person half of me. I'm going to give them 100% of me. Because if I give them half of me, what's that doing for them? They're going to go off and tell someone, this is what Jennifer did. No, I want them to go off and tell someone, Jennifer impacted me. Oh my gosh, you need to listen for her. Because you know what I crave? I crave for people to be like, Jennifer, speak on my team Zooms, do this. So I want to impact at least one person, and I want to know the one thing I impacted them, so I could be so dang good at it that I blow your mind every time. But every day I pour into myself, and I let myself know that no matter what I'm going to go through, I'm going to be at peace with it. Because in one scripture, I believe it's Matthew, God talks about, I give the birds food, I give, water, everything like this. Why would I ever let you go without? I would never let you go without. And I was always worried about, oh my gosh, my husband going back to work. My husband's going back to work. He's going back to work. He was retired for since he's been retired for 7 years. And I'm going to talk a little bit about COVID, because when COVID hit, I became a different person. I became a person that had social anxiety. I went out in public and I then had social anxiety, not because I was scared of getting whatever the crap was. I didn't care about that. It was social anxiety, how whatever everybody else felt. So I got to let you know, one piece of advice is, don't ever let somebody take away your peace. Go with everything, be present with everything, be at peace with everything that you do, and you won't question it in your mind when you leave it. You won't look back 6 months down the road and be like, I should have done it that way. You'll be at peace with what you decide, because at that moment you are present in it. You are mindful of it. You are learning in that moment. No matter if it's a fall down, you're going to get right back up. But you have to believe in yourself before anybody can believe in you. And you have to understand that it is so important. You will get everything you ask. So this is one of my favorite verses. So whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do it for the glory of God. And that's in First Colossians 10:31. You want to do everything for his glory. You want to do it all for his glory, because he will bless it. There are times in this business when I was like, you guys, who has been on a Zoom where I said, it is my why. My husband will be home with me. I can never let him go back to work. And I still felt that way. I felt that way up to 3 weeks ago, and until I got on my knees and dropped down and said, God, I'm not my independent person. I'm not independent. I'm like needing my husband for everything. Like I feel like I can't do anything without him. And like, I have to just depend on you. Like, let that. And I got so much peace over that. And it's crazy. It's crazy how much peace you could do just by asking. So like I said, have faith and do not doubt. And that's Matthew 22:22. Don't doubt him, because he will bless you in everything you have done. So I might not be at my highest. I might not be at what some of the girls are on this, who are going double diamond. There's Jessica Cook. I see on Lisa Bowden. I see Chelsea. I see Stacy, Lisa. I see all you guys. I'm so inspired by you guys. You guys give me the momentum. You guys give me the joy. You guys give me the passion just to be at peace with being the leader that I am, and just wanting to pour into all you guys. Like, I couldn't do this without you guys. And Kathy, like, Kathy signed up with me probably maybe a year after I started, and I've been in this business for 9 years. I've seen the greatest of it works, and I see the greatest or the not so great. But guess what? It's me. It's never the business. I'll never blame the business for where I'm at. It's my growth. It's my mental state. It's God. It's everything. A time watch. Like I said, Ecclesiastes 3:1-8. There's always a time. There's always a season. So you just have to be willing to know your season, know how to get through it. And you can pretty much get through anything in life, like anything that it throws at you. I'm not saying that I have the greatest things. I am just so pleased and so thankful and blessed. I get to be around ladies like you. I get to have friendships like you guys, and I get to just watch you guys grow, and I get to learn from you guys too. And I'm at a present state where everybody should be at the present state and where they're in and just reaping everything. And Chelsea, before when you're talking, I just want to read these comments because I wasn't able to read because I'm on my phone. So I'm just going to read through the comments. If you want to take over or whatever, I won't be able to see you.
Yeah, that's totally okay. I'm gonna hop on here and put back on gallery view so I can see everybody, because I was zoned into that. Like, I loved every single second of that. And I love how much you brought up the Bible. Like, what's so crazy is you and Stacey both know that I just recently started reading the Bible, and I'm so thankful for both of you, because you literally led me down that path and have literally helped guide me the entire time, because I had no guidance in that area at all. And I know that I shared my story at conference and everything. And what's so crazy is listening to your story, I'm like, wow, we're breaking generational cycles together, and we're doing it together. And it makes me feel like I'm not so much alone, and, hearing that you're doing those. And I was reading the comments, because I was reading a lot of what Stacey was saying too. And I had quite a few things that I wrote down. So I'm going to rapid fire through it, guys. I love rapid fire. Okay. I just go through it. But one of the things you were talking about a lot is you throw out the word peace a lot. Okay. Which is so crazy. And at first I was thinking about it and I was like, Stacey must get to you all the time, because Stacey's always talking about peace and how she hopes and prays that I find peace. And what's really crazy is that word stands out to me a lot, because there was so many moments in my life where there was no peace. And I know that coming from a similar background to you, diagnosed with multiple different mental illnesses, having drugs and pharmaceuticals shoved down my throat constantly, I felt like there was no peace even with that. And then what's really crazy is that when I started this business, it was like a mindset just started shifting like crazy. And then all of a sudden, like 3 years in, I started from the beginning. Okay, guys, I went med free after like 6 months of starting this business, just by changing my mindset. This is what's so crazy. And I know that Jen has a point in her story where she probably shifted, she made this big shift with her mindset, and she started realizing, like, this is me, and then once you get onto your journey with the Lord, it's like, it's that decision that you're making, and that understanding of yourself and that self-awareness takes like a whole nother level, because you're like, wow, I have been following the things of this world and not God himself. And that is why I've got this anxiety that's built up inside me. Someone needed to hear that tonight. Okay. And I'm feeling it right now. Someone on this, put a name in the comment section, or not comment section, but in the chat. If you needed to hear that, you're following worldly things, and that is why you're feeling so stressed out and anxious all the time. This is why you're feeling like all the things that your doctor is telling you, it must be true, right? It must be true. It's not true. It's all the things that you're hearing around you, and all the people that you're listening to. You're not listening to what God's got for you, and you're not listening to what he said first, right? You're not listening to all of it. And so you've got to bring it back to the word. You just have to. And I'm almost in tears thinking about it, because it's like, man, oh man, has my life changed just even doing that. But I'm reading the comments at the same exact time, distracting me. But one of the other things that I got from that, Jennifer, was that you talked about listening, and how listening is so important, guys. And you know what? In leadership, I'm going to share this with you guys, because I know this is where she's getting it. A lot of it is not just the Bible, but she's also probably hearing it from other leaders, and she's probably also hearing it from the books and everything, about how listening is so important. And the Bible just confirms that. So everything that you're hearing from your personal development books about listening, listen, guys, it comes from him first. So you've got to understand that all these things that these people are writing it's so true. But it's like, if you just went back to the word, like everything, it would all full circle for you, right? Another thing that I said on here, or you said on here, you were talking about how there was like an analogy that you said, if you marry, hold on, I gotta mute everybody, sorry girl. The analogy that you said, that we speak so poorly to ourselves. And when I first started my business, I thought about this, because I was like, I do speak so poorly on myself, and I used to do it way more than I do now. I don't do it as often. I still catch myself sometimes, but Back then it was horrible. And I would compare myself to who I once was. I would compare myself to everybody else around me. I would compare myself to a high in my business and how did I get there? And now I'm down here, right? Like I compared myself, and comparison is a thief of all joys. And what's really crazy is that that self-talk and that self-hatred would come out when I was in my lowest lows the most, right? And I'm sure you can agree, Jen. It would come out the most, right? When you are comparing yourself to others. And so one of the things you said, and I want to share this second analogy. If you guys didn't catch it with the first one, here's another one for you, okay? Take all the hard things that you're talking, like that you're saying to yourself, take all the BS that you're sharing with yourself, telling yourself you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough, you can't do that. Who are you? You're not Chelsea, you're not Jen, you can't do that. Some of you guys will say that bull crap when you get off this Zoom call, okay? When it comes down to it, try taking those things and going to your children and saying them afterwards. Guarantee you not any person on this Zoom call will go to their children and say those hurtful things to your kids, right? So if you are saying those things to yourself, you've got to know that your kids are learning from somebody. So if they are watching you and they're hearing you say these things and they are feeling it and they are hearing it and they are watching you embody these negative things, what do you think is going to happen to them when they're 18 years old, 19 years old, 20 years old, 30 years old? They're learning it from someone, mom, right? So that was another analogy that literally changed everything for me. And I look at my daughter, Bailey, okay, she is 9 years old and she is the most introverted child I've ever met in my entire life. She keeps to herself. She's very quiet and she's very socially not in it, right? Like she loves to be by herself, but certain people, she comes out of her shell, whatever. When it comes down to it, I could never look at my daughter, Bailey, in the face and say, well, you're just fat in that. You shouldn't wear those shorts out there. Everybody's going to be watching you, right? I would never look at her and say that. I would never look at her and say, Chelsea, I would never say, Bailey, you can't make that bonus. There's no way that you can earn that type of money. I would never in my right mind look at my child and say that to her. So if I don't want her to believe those things, I've got to start modeling for myself so that she can see it down the road, right? Like I got to start saying these good things to myself. I got to let her hear it loud and proud. I got to start walking tall and standing tall in this so that she can see me doing the things so that she can then follow down the road. So I hope that analogy helps you guys. And the third thing you said was you were talking about pouring into other people. And I can't remember exactly what you said. I was jotting down notes like a psycho, okay? But when it comes down to it, you were talking about if you are in, I think this was like the exact thing that you said or something like that. You said you couldn't answer on a heart that was not prepared because that heart that was unprepared is emotional, right? And this is crazy because a lot of my team knows that I've struggled with anxiety, okay? And anxiety, like I said, is when all those worldly things are getting in your way. It's a lot of guilt. Where does that guilt come from? It comes from human beings, okay? It means you're not following what God's got for you right from the start. And so I think about it like this, okay? We take a cup. I'm just going to use this wine glass, okay? Yeah, I'm having a glass of wine on the Zoom call, okay? When it comes down to it, if I take this wine glass, okay, and I see I'm like almost empty on this, and I try to take this and I try to pour into 6 other wine glasses, how much are each of those wine glasses really going to be filled up? They're going to get a drop. They're not going to feel good, or you're like these people who are drinking these wine glasses are barely going to get a taste of what it's really like to have that wine glass in there, right? They're not going to know what the wine tastes like because you're literally giving them a drop out of it. But if you fill that wine glass all the way to the top, and then you take it and you pour it into 6 different wine glasses, wow, can you imagine how everybody will be satisfied? Everybody will be happy. Everybody will feel good. Everybody will know what that wine tastes like. They will all be excited because they got to actually share with you. They got to be in your presence and everything. So just like Jen said, and this just triggered it for me, okay? Just like Jen said, if you are showing up half empty, how do you expect to pour into those other people? You got to fill yourself up first. And that is where putting God first in the morning is the most important thing. And then right after that is all your personal development. Guys, I've got 3 books here, actually 4 books. I'm going to share this with you guys. I've got my Bible. I start that with every single morning. And then I go to my devotional. And then right after that, I do my book, and I do a little bit of my book. It's usually 5 pages, 10 pages, whatever I can do in that moment. And then I journal, and that journal is speaking life into myself, because I've got to speak life into myself before I pour into all these ladies right across the board, right? And we got a pretty big team that's going right now, right? We're regrowing, we're rebuilding. We got a lot of different girls that are coming in. And you know what? Just like Jen said, it's okay that they have to wait. It's okay that your loyal customers have to wait. It's okay that your potentials have to wait. It's okay that your team has to wait for you to fill your cup up, right? It's okay that some days you just have to take more time for you so that you can get your mindset right. Because when it comes down to it, you're not going to be able to fill up their cup. You're going to have to look at them and say, sorry, I'm empty. I don't have anything to give. And your team's going to feel it. They're going to feel every single bit of it, because you didn't fill your own cup up first thing in the morning first. So I hope that helps you guys. And I think that that's all that I had with that part. I did want to ask you, Jen, if you want to answer this. It's totally up to you. What was your shift? Because I know that you said that you went through mental illness and then diagnosed you with things and you on medications and everything. What do you feel like was the biggest shift for you when you started becoming more self-aware and understanding? Because I know I've got a lot of girls on here who they live with their heart on their sleeve, just like you and me do, right? And so they, they're maybe stuck in this moment in their life where they're either battling mental illness or battling people pleasing, right? Like a lot of us do. What was the biggest shift for you that really was like, enough's enough?
Well, first of all, I want to say, because I read some of the comments and I saw that you're like, or you said it, you're like, you must be talking to Stacy every day. But I haven't talked to Stacy in a while. Like, it's been a while. And Kathy, I think, hit it on, and I never would have thought that. But she said, when my husband got baptized is when she saw a change in me. And I do believe that, because when you do have somebody in your household that is doing the same thing and literally not telling you what you're doing wrong, but kind of like, he does it in such an amazing way that I could take it. My family, not so much. They say it in their loving way, but it's not. It's like my husband has a different way of relaying the message than like other people. And I think you need to find somebody who can relate to you and who could read you. And my husband knows me, and just for him to get baptized has really pushed me to be better, because now that he knows, he could be like, okay, should we have done that? Was that really for the glory of God? Or should we I felt that today. And it's just great knowing that you have that support right there. So, but when you're around that, you become more aware of like, wow, like I could be different. I could be better. He's good. And then you'll get into that stage where you feel like, wow, I still feel it sometimes, is where my husband deserves more than me. And God makes you a better person. Like, when you become a better person, then you want to be around better people. So now, with your struggling with any mental illness, with taking medication, with going through the things, I think the shift for me was the self-development, the books, the podcasts, the journaling, the affirmations, the Bible. But I also think it was testimonies, because although we could do all those things. I want to hear that somebody else won from journaling. I want to hear that somebody else won from reading that book. I want to hear that somebody else became rich from reading The Secret Millionaire Mindset, right? And the thing is, like, you have to put yourself around growth. You have to put yourself around who you want to become. And if you put yourself around who you want to become, sooner or later, you're going to become them. Like, me and Stacey live in different states. She's been trying for 15 years to get me closer to the Lord. My husband lives in my house, and the day he got baptized, 25 days later, I was reading the Bible. So it's who you put yourself around, not just social media wise, but around in person, because when you're around those people, they keep you on track. They make you want to do better. They make you want to have peace. And if I feel like I don't have peace around somebody, I will love them. I will pray for them, and I'll pray for them right there on the spot, just like I'm about to pray for all you before we about to get off this call. But I will pray for them, and then I will like bless them, and that's it. Like, I don't have to put myself around people that are negative, worldly, or whatever, but I still will show them love. I'll still pray, and I will go on. As long as I say something or make an impact for him, for his will, then I'm good. And I did my job. But I want to impact every person that I come across. And that's because I was dug in so deep to myself, to the books, to the podcast, to the journaling, to the affirmation. And I downloaded the Bible Project. And you don't have to read the Bible on that app. I know these kind of Zooms. I know the people that show up to these kind of Zooms, and sometimes they're like, I was that person just last year, like, oh my gosh, she's talking about God again. It's not like that. Like, it's like, I wish everybody knew me like a year and a half ago. I wish you guys all knew me a year and a half ago. I was like Ashley Mayfield, like 100. And if you know who Ashley Mayfield, she's very red, but she is very successful, very driven, very like passionate, very energetic. And then it all shifted, and it shifted for a better reason. I'm at peace with everything. But the shift was growth. I was open to coaching, and it was after the first book I read, John Maxwell, 5 Layers of Leadership, and that just was the start of the tip of the shift change. And I prayed, and I said, God gave me my purpose, and I kept hearing, use your voice, use your voice. So whatever I do, I'm going to use my voice, and whatever it's in. But if you come out a winner, and you will come out a winner if you do this. If you wake up every day and you do something to better yourself, you will start seeing the shift. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, overstimulating, over so much thinking about it. It's a process. Just wake up every day, do something different. Always be willing to learn. These are things that you can write down right now that I ask myself every day. What are you going to learn today? Who are you going to talk to today? What Bible scripture are you going to read today? What are you going to affirm today? What are 5 things you're going to thank God for today? What's one goal that you have today? And I could write this out and then give it to Chelsea too. And what is something that you want to thank God for today? And I do that every day. And it's something I'm thanking God for that hasn't happened already. I'm thanking God for the simplest things every day. And it's magnetizing. But you also have to realize something. I realized that was a shift as well, is I would never take the blessings in. I would never take a blessing. I was always like, are you sure? Like, what can I do? I feel like I owe you. I feel like this. I did it to Chelsea many times. Stacey would see me do it to my sister Christina, or anybody that I came in contact with. I felt like I always had to repay somebody. I felt like I always had to owe somebody something. I felt like I would, and I was brought up in that mentality of, you can't just receive. You're a giver. You give, and that's because my grandma gave. But I started realizing that money's energy. It goes like this. It makes its way. There's enough for everybody. There's tons and tons of it. But when I was putting it a block in receiving, even if it was receiving time from Chelsea, even if it was receiving $10, or even if it was receiving a shout out or whatever it was, the simplest gift, the simplest receive. I was blocking out getting the receiving gifts or blessings, and that would stop it. And that's a big shift when I realize is now all the blessings are coming in, regardless of me making $5,000 and my bills are 7,000. Regardless of me going from number 37 in the company to over 200, regardless of me having unspecified bipolar and being at peace with it, regardless of me being in a state of mind that I'm at peace with being right here, because I know what I'm going to get in the future. And Chelsea, one last thing is what you said to me is, you said I took basically it's not even a year off, because you were still there no matter what for your team. You were still answering questions, but mentally, emotionally, just like into yourself, self-development. You said you did that. And I keep thinking, dang, but that girl's on fire now. She must have lost everything. I lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
I have the friendships, I have the community. I lost not everything. I'm not going to say everything, because I haven't lost everything. I lost a lot. But it's all supposed to be like this. It's all supposed to work out like this, because I'm going to come back even better. I'm going to come back and make an impact on more than 60,000 people that I did. I'm going to become a 2-time millionaire. Since I already got inducted 1 time into the Millionaires Club with It Works, I'll become a 2-time millionaire. I will change people's lives so that our team, the ones that want this, are going to be standing on that stage saying that their entire life has changed because they were around like-minded people that loved them unconditionally, and was there for them and wanted to impact their lives. Find those people, find your tribe, and stick close with them, and always believe that you can get past anything. God's blessing me in ways that I couldn't even imagine. It might not be financially, and it may be financially, but he's making a way, and he'll always make a way. Mm-hmm. And regardless of the situation, regardless of whatever happens in your business, like, there's a time, there's a season, you will get there. The only thing is, will you give up before you get there? Mm-hmm. It's up to you.
Oh, that was so good. So good. And it's so true. And I had to add this last thing. And if you want to close this out in prayer, like you said, you wanted to, totally okay. I would love that. But you said, I took a whole year of growth, and we talked about this, and I've talked with a lot of people about this, and man, it was a crazy year. And what's really crazy about that year is you said that you lost everything, but I'm going to share with you, I lost everything too. And I'm sure you saw it on my numbers at some point or another. I lost everything too. Last year was a really hard year for a lot of us, with everything switching around. The success bonus destroyed a lot of our business, and it was absolutely crazy. And that's me being super 110% vulnerable. I know I got a lot of my team on here. The success bonus destroyed a lot of things. It destroyed a lot of residual, and it was absolutely crazy. And I feel like someone needs to hear these things, right? It's so important to know that a lot of the reason why a lot of us didn't take off last year was because of that bonus, right? But we are on to the new. And what's really crazy about this is that I took a year for growth, and all this craziness was happening with a success bonus, and I don't even look at it as a loss, okay? A lot of people dropped off the face of the planet on my team, okay? I went from having a massive team with a lot of people working to like one person just hanging on for dear life, and she's not even with me anymore. And this is what's really crazy, is that when all these things were happening, God slammed this door shut on all of these people, slammed it. And here I was thinking to myself, how am I supposed to get up from this? I literally sent voice message after voice message to Stacy, and Stacy could literally attest to this, crying my eyes out, telling her, I don't know how I'm going to come up from this. And this is what really started making me interested in getting right with the Lord and understanding him, because she was talking to me about how the doors are closing, and how there's new things coming, there's bigger things coming, because that big failure that I was having, something bigger was emerging from it. And that I had to go through this hard, guys. I had to go through this hard, because that next season would never come if I did not fall. I had to fall in order to get back up. And in that season of falling, I am so thankful that I was led down this journey. And I don't know what it was, but God literally led me onto these Zoom calls where every single Zoom call I heard a leader saying, I took a year and I just grew. I took a year and I just grew. I took a year and I just grew. And guess what I did? I followed exactly what those leaders were saying on the Zoom calls. This is why Zoom calls are so good, guys. Get on them, because you're going to hear something that is meant for you and only you, and you're supposed to hear it. Like the little nuggets that you take away from those Zoom calls, they were meant for you specifically. So don't even question that, right? I took it and I ran with it. I took an entire year, and I have found some of the best distributors I have had in my entire organization for the last 6 years of being in business, because I took a year to grow. And I was led to take that year to grow. And I had the biggest fall I've had since I started my business this last year. And even though it was scary, and even though it was like, I don't know how I'm going to get back up from this, thank the good Lord for good friends and people who are willing to push you and guide you. And when you are like hanging on by a thread, you just send them that voice message and they're going to say, you've got this, girl. That's all that they do. You know, they say, you've got this. They push you, they guide you. And that's what we're here for. That's what us leaders are here for. That's what your sideline is there for, is for you to be, you know, we're a team. That's what we are. We are a team. And that's how I see this. And it's getting stronger and stronger by the day. And if you weren't at conference, this last conference, oh man, you've got to be at this next conference, because it's going to be the biggest and most strongest, tight-knit group that we've ever had at conference. It's going to be massive. And I felt it this last year, and I feel it on every single Zoom call. And just know that you've got to fall sometimes so that you can get back up. And just like Jen said, the question isn't whether you're going to make it there, is will you quit before that happens? And the answer has to be no. The answer has to be no. It has to be, I'm going to be willing to get back up, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much life hits me, no matter whether my friend or my husband or my whoever, my mom, my dad is telling me to quit. I'm going to keep going, because God has put this on my heart. I am here for a reason. I'm hearing this Zoom for a reason. I'm listening to Jen's story and I'm connecting with everything she's saying for a reason, right? So I want to share that with you guys. And then if you want to share anything last minute, Jen, and then we'll go ahead and close it in prayer and we'll hop off here.
Know what you want, go after what you want, get what you want, pray about what you want, and whatever is going to happen is going to happen. It's all out of your control, but you know, no matter what, that you worked for it. You did what you could. And if it happens, then all the glory to God. If not, then it doesn't. And never, never, never change your goal. Just change the timeline, because it might not happen for you that day, but all those seeds that you're planting are going to spark. They eventually always spark when you continue to water. But if you stop watering, there will never be a spark. Yeah, that's it, Chelsea.
All right. I love it. All right. So we're going to go ahead and hop off here. Did you want to end the call?
Yeah, I will go ahead. And do you want to pray?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you so, so much for these amazing ladies who hopped on. Father, they hopped on because they wanted to change their life. They want to do something. They want to be impacted in some way that will either benefit them financially, emotionally, mentally, physically, whatever it is. God, will you bless them? Bless them for all that they are doing, showing up, being at the right place at the right time. We have an amazing community. We have an amazing company, and you're blessing it. You have already showed us, your work, by the company, by CEO, by and just all around. Like there's so much peace to what you're doing, and I want you to continue to bless it in their lives, maximize their household income, help them with all their stresses and worries, and help them know that it's okay to need help, to reach out, that we are there to help them and guide them and lead them and impact them in ways that they couldn't even imagine. But they need to use their voice, they need to ask, they need to communicate, and give them that strength to keep going when things get hard, and to rise up and to duplicate the process and what they're doing, and pour into their minds and their souls, and give them so much love, and just bless them and their families tonight, and cherish each one of them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Jen. I appreciate you hopping on here, and thank you guys all for hopping on here. We have one last Zoom call, which is next weekend or next Wednesday, and it is going to be so good. I'm so excited about it. So make sure that you hop on early so you can hear all of it. Once again, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a great night.